Dylan. How many participants we got? Three?
How many Dylans do you reckon we've got? We could play bingo.
Yo, you guys hear me?
Yeah, man.
What's going on, bro?
Fuck all.
Looks in the call.
What's the time over there?
It is 4:56.
Right.
Sun is just going down.
So good.
That's a great time zone to do a call in.
Okay.
Bit of
Yeah,
sunlight, bit of water.
yeah.
So good, man.
Flip it.
Oh,
Oh, bit near the beach, you know.
Oh no, I'm about half hour from the beach here.
Oh, yeah?
My place is only like 5 minutes from the beach, so
I think you're still closer to the beach there than we are out here, though.
yeah, that's it.
yeah.
So good to have you a call, bro. Hopefully this is what you're after, and
Hopefully,
we'll get it going, bro. Keen.
yeah. How long is it supposed to go for?
I think we've got it locked in for an hour, dude. But we should have a bulk of it done by like 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. I just got a class at 5:45, so
Yeah.
I'll have to duck out just before then.
Okay. No stress. I'll give you a bell afterwards anyway, man, just to run through some stuff with you.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. So good, bro.
I'm gonna try to get started on time too for you.
Yeah.
We'll do
Yeah,
our best.
cool.
Happened last time we had like a few people, and then all of a sudden it just got flooded with people.
Yeah, we only had like 5 or 6 originally, and then we started talking, and then we had like 9 or 10 people just flood in, and then it
Yeah.
just kept flooding in the whole way through. We ended up going for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Which is cool.
We're not doing that tonight.
Absolutely not.
No.
But welcome, and welcome Lucas, welcome Jordan.
Jordan in the dark, eh? That's terrifying.
Batman.
Wow. Lucas, how you going, brother? Thanks for
Really
joining.
good. How are you guys?
Good, mate. Good to have you on.
Good to be here.
I'm glad, bro. I'm glad.
Sorry
Okay.
about the email going to spam. It happens.
No, that's okay. It's probably down to me because that's not my best email.
Understood.
But yeah, I hardly check that one. That's probably down to me as well.
Yeah,
But yeah.
that's the email you send to people when you need a spam email to be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the burner email
Yeah.
address. Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
I got your spam email, yeah, Doug. Sorry.
It's one you get to tell us
Yeah.
on the.
It's that's the one you put in when you've got like you know when you're signing up for a discount code or something for an
Yeah,
online
yeah.
store.
Yeah.
It goes
Well,
there,
like-
and then you use your other email address when you go purchase,
Mhm.
and you go, I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
not want email marketing.
Yeah, that's it.
Big brain things.
But we're here now, so
Welcome. Welcome. Glad
man.
you're here, mate. Glad you're here.
Just for everyone, Lucas, where are you calling from?
Warwick in Queensland. So that's 2 hours away from Brisbane.
North or
Yeah, north, yeah.
north of
So
Brisbane?
If it's 2 hours south, it's New South Wales.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's probably, if you know Toowoomba, it's
Yeah, I know
it's
Toowoomba.
about an hour away from there. So
Oh, very
Cool.
good.
Cool.
yeah,
That's
Very
exciting.
cool.
Well, I'll be all right with you tonight, but next week, Wednesday, maybe not.
oh man, you're going down, eh?
We are. Look, I've accepted that, but
Oh, state of origin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Queensland, too good, man.
Why do we suck?
Well, your team's honestly a lot better this game.
oh, this is the team we should have had for game 1.
Yeah, I'm not nervous, but I'm like, yeah, if you're going to win this game, it's probably, or if you're going to win a game, it's going to be this one.
If we're going to win a game in the next decade, this will be the game.
Where
To
are we
be
playing?
honest,
Is it here?
nah, Melbourne,
Melbourne. Oh god.
and then
like-
game 3 in Brisbane. So it's
Yeah.
it's the extension, the annexation of Queensland is Melbourne. Yeah,
We got another bloke joining us.
got a few more in.
Yeah,
Got a few more
a
in.
few more people entering the chat. Welcome.
Welcome, friends.
I reckon we'll
Give them like 2 minutes.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
give
Give them a
2
little bit
minutes to
after.
people.
Give them a little bit after the hour because it is late. People are getting home from work.
My goal is to finish on time so Dylan can get to his class. Okay,
We're
so
gonna talk on triple speed. Is that what we're gonna do?
Pretty much.
this is my boy. Make sure we get
We'll do what we can. Guys, if you do have to jump out as well, because we do talk forever, the recording will go out for this as well. So you won't miss a minute of the action.
Very cool.
It's like Jamboree, mate.
Jamboree. Really?
You control the action.
Been a while since I've been there.
You might head down there now that we've said it.
Alrighty.
Give it a little bit.
So you got Stephen joining us as well as Samantha. Welcome.
I think that's Vinay, actually.
It's Vinay. It's just under.
Hey, what's up, man? I was like,
How you going? Very good. How are you?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Defrosting.
Defrosting, right?
We got the aircon on 26 at the moment. We are living our best lives.
Yeah, look, I'm trying to save on my power bills, but it's all right.
You back jumping yet, mate?
I'm running, not jumping.
Understood. Yeah, how's it going in the hammy?
Not too bad. Can't complain too much about it, you know.
Well, the good thing is you're running, so that's
Yeah.
the thing. We're gonna see you out on the track this year.
Hopefully.
That's the plan.
Hopefully, that's the plan. Yeah.
Well, Shields are gonna roll around in 2 months, mate. We gotta get you ready.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. It's coming up.
It's a short off season this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Oceanians will do that to us, so
Yeah.
no. But that's all well and good, mate. So, but I appreciate you jumping on, bro. Hope you get a
No
lot of.
worries.
We got Jessica Murdoch coming on. Welcome, Jess. Thanks for joining us. Lovely to see you. Where are you calling from, Jess?
Just at home, just a student studying exercise physiology, my final year. So
you.
on Instagram.
I'm glad you're studying too. That's great.
Yeah.
Not sure we were in our final year.
Oh, good for you.
And whereabouts are you based, Jess?
Sorry for just in the hills.
Oh, cool.
Hey, local.
Yeah.
One of us.
Here we go. We got some people rolling in. Welcome, everybody. We got JG coming through.
Bradley.
Yeah.
Top.
Bradley's coming in. Welcome.
Imagine it was James Garth.
Could be. Never know.
That's the name.
Imagine.
That's the name.
Guys, we're just going to give a few more minutes. I know we said we'll start at
Yeah.
7:02, but
We'll talk.
kind of happened last time. But seems like people are starting to jump on now, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll kick it off, I reckon. Yeah. How many people did we have registered for this, by the way?
Over 100.
It's a lot of people.
Over 100. Hopefully they're not all lurkers and they're not waiting for the recording to come out because they want some sleep.
Yeah. Or maybe it was Lucas who accidentally registered like 88.
Yeah, how many burner email addresses do you have, Lucas? He's counting them out. He's counting them out.
Very good.
Oh, mate.
No, man. It's all good stuff. Oh, what's happening here?
He's going into my chat. Oh, he's going into my messages. What's he
Sorry,
doing, mate?
sorry. I don't know what to do.
Oh, mate.
Where are you, mate?
Look at this guy.
Has to fix it.
All he had to do is do that. Go participants. There we go. You can have a look. I'm the tech guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll give it one more minute,
yeah.
I think. and we'll
60 seconds
kick
and then we
off.
tick it off, eh?
Yeah, yeah. People are looking a bit hungry, you know. So I'm talking to myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Josh Stevens,
Andy was saying he was
welcome.
hungry.
Joel Potter, welcome.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
All right. Oh, here we go. More peeps.
Peeps. It's all lighting up.
This is the beauty of me opening it up without a waiting room. So people can filter in whenever needed.
It's good.
That's awesome.
Last minute. Come on.
Let's see how it happens.
They'll filter in as we talk anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Hopefully we don't have someone who's like
Yeah.
in the back of a flatbed when they jump on and they're unmuted and all you hear is just the air whistling past.
I was going to say, you guys, just before we actually get stuck into the main meat and potatoes of this presentation, guys, I was just hoping that for all of us that are jumping on board, just in the little chat box, if you can just let us know, first of all, where you're coming from and what sort of profession you're holding, whether you're a strength coach, exercise physiologist, physiotherapist, just so we get a bit of a nice idea of like who's in the room, because we're about to do some intros soon. But one thing that I've realized is that we don't know very much about y'all. So the sooner we get that, it's going to help us out quite a fair bit.
Profession, how many years into your profession or whether you're a student? Fire up the chat.
Let's fire
Spam
up the
us.
chat.
It's Jack Giles, actually, not James Garth.
Good.
Nice to meet you, Chad.
Oh, nice to meet you, mate. Alrighty, 7:05. I think that's us.
That's us.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So without any further ado, everyone, hello and welcome. And thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us this Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. My name is Andy and I am the lead on Profrom University. And I'm joined here with some very, very esteemed guests. I've got to my right one of our head developers in Josh Robinson, who's very, very passionate about this project and is very eager to share it with you all today. And I also have on the call Geordie, who's one of our other developers and educators who's on the call, and she's going to be helping us curate all the comments so that us lads on this end of the call don't miss anything, and we can answer all of your questions as they come on through. And last but definitely not least, we are joined by our founder, our CEO, our point man, boss man, the man, the myth, legend, Buzz Aldrin Oxing. He's going to be on the call as well, sharing some words of wisdom with you all as well. So we hope you get a lot of benefit out of that. So, like I said, guys, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll hopefully have you guys out in time for dinner or your class with a lot of things to think about and a lot of value as we go along the way. All right. So now that we've got to just give it a bit of a look, I'm just looking at the chat box here. There's a lot of physios, Sutherland Shire, that's a lovely spot in the world. A lot from Goldie, beautiful places in the world. Victoria, new grad RMT and keen to learn. I love that sort of stuff.
Physio, Northern Beaches, oh, good spot.
Great spots.
Great spot.
Definitely.
Geordie's hood, right? Geordie's hood. Penshurst, and then our token Queenslander.
Definitely. And I guess while we're all got our fingers nice and warm when we're typing, I imagine that there was something about this call or this invitation or this info night that spoke to you or resonated with you about some of the problems that we're trying to solve. So the last thing I'd like you all just to type in that into that chat box, if you can, is just what brought you here today? What is the thing about this info night that attracted you here to actually jump on board and sit with us for an hour and talk about a number of different problems that are afflicting the allied health community in general? So please, if you can type that in, or even better still, what's your biggest pain point that you're experiencing within your career right now? And perhaps we can shed some light on some of those things. So I'm going to give you guys about 30 to 60 seconds to fire that up in the chat as well, just so we can get a bit of a synopsis about what's going on. So fire away, guys. And as you guys are doing that, I guess that allows us to open the floor about, a problem that we're facing, okay, as members of the allied health community, and a problem that we're very passionate about solving. And perhaps one of the things that you might have seen on our social media as of late, and I know it's got a lot of traction because I think a lot of people seem to be resonating with this concept. And it's this slide here. Now, these statistics come from the APA, which is the Australian Physiotherapy Association of Australia, in conjunction with AHPRA. And when you look at these statistics, for me, they're quite heartbreaking and staggering. And what they're suggestive of is that 60% of physiotherapists are gone within 10 years of graduating. The sad thing about this is these trends start to become more apparent at the 5-year mark, and that's when they start being seen. And even worse to that effect is that, I guess, our other members of the allied health fraternity, so think about our EP friends, think about our chiro friends, think about our strength coach friends, all these sorts of people, the attrition and the turnover rate isn't any better. And that, when I read that, first of all, it's quite heartbreaking, it's quite staggering, and it's quite shocking. So if you can think for a moment, guys, like say, if you've gone to uni, and you've gone ahead and like I said, some of our uni students, you're going in and you're doing an EP accreditation, you've done your physiotherapy course, you're doing your strength coach certifications, and you can think of yourself and 4 other friends, so 5 people, right? And within 5 to 10 years, 3 of those people in that group of 5 are gone, right? And that's a major problem because not only for you personally, because if you'll find yourself, you're one of those people, that's all that time invested in your education. That's all that money wasted in your HECS debt. That's all that time wasted cultivating a career and not actually getting into the positions or down the pathway that you really, really want to. And that's a wasted talent. Secondary to that, though, is that the community at large, the allied health fraternity, is losing a whole lot of talent, okay? Talented individuals like yourself that care about people and want to make an impact on the community, and we're losing them to other things. And this is something that, for us at Profrom U, it's not on. It's not something that we're about. And we want to do what we can to assist you all and assist the community just for the betterment of everyone, you know? So these stats, well and truly heartbreaking. And yeah, I guess let's not make that be you.
And just before we continue on this slide, I know there's probably a few of you that are running your own business. And as you know, with business, particularly small ones, within the first 2 years, a fair few of you are going to feel that struggle. And most small businesses end up canning themselves because they just can't survive with the cash flow. They don't know how to survive further than what they knew they had initially, which was to just be a really good technician. Not only do they need to do that, but they also need to then know how to run a business. So we're well and truly aware of the state that the industry is in as an allied health profession, but also trying to do that as a business owner.
Yeah, and finding the help, because if 60% of your potential workforce is at the door, all that quality goes along with it, so we have to be able to do what we can to cultivate that talent and make sure that we can retain them. In regard to that previous point, though, there has been some research done and some research done by us in terms of our own market research about some of the things that we find, I guess, attribute to that attrition rate. And these were the ones that we found collectively were most apparent. Things like burnout, overwork and being underpaid, finding and keeping ideal clients, or client acquisition. There being an expectation of providing too much information or too much service for an initial consult or something like that, and perhaps devaluing your time as a result of your ability as an allied health professional or coach, right? A lack of mentorship, a lack of clinic buy, I guess, or even in terms of that lack of mentorship, effective abilities in being able to onboard new clients, which is new revenue, new cash flow, new things like this. For a lot of our new grads, this was dealing with imposter syndrome, which I think everyone on this table, including Geordie as well, at some stage or another, have actually had to deal with this in order to have to come out the other side of that to be able to see a better future. Lack of fulfillment, and also to lack of progression in their careers and mentorship, and just feeling lost and not sure in which way to go. Now, I think a lot of us, when we see a lot of these pain points, I guess we could probably resonate with a few of these ourselves, which means as well, we have to be able to find ways in which we can not only manage, but overcome and really dominate and conquer these things in order to be able to experience something better. All right. So I guess we have a lot of you people to thank for bringing us this information, but it really adds a lot of color to that first slide that we brought about. Now, more on burnout, because this seems to be the main reoccurring thing that we get with a lot of people, I guess, when we did our market research. And when we look at burnout, one of the things that we found with it is that too many practitioners, too many professionals, too many people moving into the workforce fall into this trap of what we call textbook tunnel vision. And these are the limiting perspectives that limit your growth, limit your creative expression, and limit your ability to live out your purpose through whatever your chosen vocation is. And we're quite lucky in that, or maybe luck is not the best word that we might use, but we have a lot of experience with this. And I guess, and this is where I know for Josh in particular, he's got a story that really resonates with this. And I'm glad to say, survived this and with us now and contributing in a really deep and meaningful way with Profim University. And I'm going to invite him now to share a bit of his story and how he's gone about it.
Yeah, thanks, Andy.
No problems, mate.
Guys, it's a big story. It's a long story, so I won't bore you with too much of the detail. But I've done an exercise science degree, did the physio degree, thought I had everything figured out. I was going great, enjoying it, knew where I wanted to be with my career, knew what I wanted to do with my life. Everything was perfect, and it all came crashing down at the end of my physio degree. The day after my last exam, I was admitted to hospital. I had a blood pressure that spiked through the roof, heart rate spiked through the roof. They didn't know what was going on. And I spent 8 days in hospital, and they didn't have an answer for me. They didn't know what was going on. There was no medical explanation for it. So the only thing they could do was diagnose me with burnout. I had a pretty extreme response to I guess you'd call it the workload, the mental strain and the mental stress of being in healthcare. And at that time, I didn't have the strategies, I didn't have the tools to be able to cope with that and to be able to work through that and to be able to still show up for myself and show up for my patients, my clients as well. That was a common theme over the first 2-3 years of my career as well, before I found Proform, before I joined the team. I'm very lucky that I've known Buzz for a while now, and call it right place, right time, call it whatever else. But ever since I have been at Proform. It's been a complete 180, complete flip the script. And the burnout hasn't been a thing. Those things haven't been a thing. And that comes back to having the freedoms in place to expand where you treat, how you treat, the creative expression, finding your purpose, being empowered to grow and being empowered and being challenged. And yeah, I'm very glad to say, Andy, as well, that I am still here and I made it through the other side. You made it sound like I was, dying or something, but no, not dying. But yeah, that's a little bit about my story. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Appreciate sharing, brother. Appreciate sharing, man. And I think it's the sad state of affairs is that there's a lot of other people that were in some stage or another in Josh's shoes, I guess, going through that period of, I guess, if you want to call it loss or confusion through perhaps like early or even middle part of their career, like that whole Groundhog Day scenario, banging their head against a brick wall over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And as a result of that, getting burnt out. But as we move forward, all right, one of the ways that we actually, I guess, encouraging people to actually navigate this space is, and I think you alluded to this a little bit in your explanation, is about being able to find that purpose and being able to find your why. Because in finding your why and directing your energies towards that, I guess you're going to have a much, much better outcome than just putting energy and effort into something that's mindless and unforgiving. We're big believers that who you are shapes how you treat or how you operate. And one of the things that we want to do is, I guess, alongside you, discover who you are together, because this is what we feel is the Proform way. In particular with healthcare, and I'm not just limiting this to what goes on in a clinic, what goes on in a hospital, what goes on in a doctor's surgery, but I'm also including that what goes on in the gym, because a lot of health happens, I believe, in the gym. And for all of our EPs and all of our strength coach friends out there, I include that in this definition, is that one of the things that we know about healthcare is that it's extremely chaotic. It's a dynamic system in and of itself. It's messy at the best of times. And one of the ways that we've actually helped people to go ahead about overcoming burnout and perhaps even some of this imposter syndrome ideas is, instead of trying to solve things for everyone and being the hero and being the star attraction in the story, it's utilizing your talents to become the guide. And in doing this, flip the script of your perspective, is that you can reshape your thinking, which then allows you then to think about reshaping your future. And we believe the journey will start here in something like this and what we're offering at Proform U. Now, it's with great honor and privilege that I get to hand the mic over to the gentleman on my left-hand side to talk a little bit about yourself and your own little sort of journey moving through. And I'm sure that you can shed some light on a lot of these things and provide a lot of value to the people playing at home. So, guys, without any further ado, here's Buzz.
All right, let's do this. So I suppose one of the things you're probably asking is like, what is Proform U and why did it start? And for me, when I first began my journey in healthcare, I just wanted to be a really good physio. I finished my studies, I graduated, and from day one, I wanted to operate a business. And I knew that that's exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, is build a business and just be a gun physio. And one of the things that drove me to do that was my environment. At uni, they talk about all the knowledge that you need to know to be a good physio. When you start doing coverage, you start doing things with elite athletes, and then all of a sudden you start to adopt this thinking that, hey, a good physio means that I'm progressing my career from sport level 1 to 2, doing all these courses, working with the NRL, the Olympics, then going to being titled sports physio, then owning my clinic. And there was this kind of allied health ladder that I needed to climb. And so I did that. I started working X amount of hours. My first patient one day was at 5 a.m., finishing at 9 p.m. at night. And I worked like a dog, just trying to make sure that I wasn't one of those businesses that failed within the first few years. And at the start, it was really cool because I was making all this money and I was building my status as being a gun physio. But at some point, I started to realize, like, actually, I don't even know if this is what I want to do. And I saw some of my friends head in that direction. And I saw my other friends kind of go, hey, like, what do you want to do? And I just couldn't answer that question. And I feel like because there's such a big dropout rate, the reason why people don't stick with it is because they haven't given themselves permission to ask the question, what do I actually want to achieve with my career? Where do I want to be in 3-5 years' time? What's my actual dream outcome? Second thing that they don't understand is, like, what problem do they want to solve? And all of us have a very unique story with experiences and interests and stuff that we like that make us very unique. And so for me, I had to fit into this mold of what a good physio was, because that's what I was conditioned to believe. But in actual fact, it's all about figuring out, well, what makes you you? What allows you to stand up for something, a problem worth solving, and allows you to stand out against other people, because that's just you. That's just innately you. And no one really told me that or gave me permission, and I never gave myself permission to do that. And so the reason I started Proform was because I felt that there is many ways to do healthcare, and not one way will work for someone. And if I'm going to do it my way, I'm going to do it in a way that, one, lights me on fire because I love doing it this way, gives me complete amounts of energy so I can sustain what I'm doing for a very long time, allows me to do it to become financially free, but is also making a huge impact in the community. So I had to redefine what I saw as success. What was success as a practitioner, as a health practitioner, as a coach? I opened a gym. What did that mean for me to be a good trainer for my members? I had to redefine all of that. And it meant tearing down some paradigms that I had adopted from either my parents or mentors or friends to then redefine me, right? So during that journey, I was like, cool, this is really weird, because now I'm going back into things that I don't really have the answers for. But that process of questioning why I'm doing what I'm doing helped me figure out, well, here's the product that I want to produce. Here's how I want to provide a service for my guys, my people, the people that I align largely with and I can make a huge impact for. And so you start to become a new, more defined practitioner, coach, trainer, business owner. And doing that allowed me to then build this team, which, you know, when you're first starting out, you're probably trying to figure it out on your own, doing all the courses, reading all the textbooks and trying to learn as much as you can. But there's a saying that I hold really close to me, is you can have control, you can have growth, but you can't have both. And at some stage, you're going to need to release that control and trust people. I had no idea how to build a team, but I slowly started to find ways to do that well. And the previous slide was all about people. You know, better people make better physios, but they also build better businesses. And so we redefined our business, and now it's all about redefining healthcare. So I've gone from doing things for me, doing things to build a team for others, and now we're trying to change the way that we do healthcare. And that's how Proform U kind of came about. So I'm really excited for you guys. I know that was a bit of a long story, but one of my biggest dreams would be to help all of you on this call get what I didn't get at the beginning of my career, which is clarity on what I'm trying to do here, what I'm trying to achieve, how do I reverse engineer my dream outcome, give myself permission to even ask what that is, and then have the support to help you achieve that. So my personal mission statement for Proform is this, is we want to really, every single practice that we own has this mission statement for themselves. It's to directly impact the lives of 10,000 people, build 100 programs to deliver 10 professional talks by the end of 2024, because everybody deserves to heal better, perform at their best, and live for the moments that matter. And the reason I love this statement is because it's quite a big statement to have, but it also includes some key economic objectives for my team to follow. Now, if I was to ask you, does your team, or do you know what your personal mission statement is? What's your answer? Whack it in the chat. Do you have a personal mission statement for yourself? Pretty simple, yes or no. And if you do, maybe share it with us, because we'd love to know. But I want to know, do you guys have one? And if you don't have one, have you ever thought about writing one? And if you haven't thought about writing one, we'd be happy to help guide you in that process. But having really key DNA for yourself and or your business is really key for building a fulfilling and long-lasting career. So for us at Proform, there's this idea that in healthcare, I feel like a lot of us go into this thinking everything's about us. How do I become a gun physio? How do I make more money? How do I excel in my career? What we forget is the main thing. We're in this because we're here in the healthcare service industry to serve people, which means that we're not the hero of this story. We're simply the guide. And it's our patients that are the hero of this story, and we just have to help promote them or push them in the right direction, gently push them. Now, how do you become a good guide when all you've known is how to survive as a particular person, practitioner, or or expert. And that's something that I wish I knew very early, because when your focus shifts from yourself and trying to get and gain things just for you to serving and impacting the world, big things start happening. Doors start opening. You start becoming and being a different practitioner that's able to engage and connect with the people that you serve on a whole nother level, because all of your attention is focused on the person in front of you. So we'll help you guys through Proform U navigate the landscape of being a better communicator, learning how to ask calibrated questions, making sure that we're keeping our patients or members' goals front and center, and then engineering our plan around them and taking this collaborative and very close approach with our guys. So that would be a huge win for us if we can help give you the tools and the frameworks for you to be able to skip the part where you make all the mistakes and fast track your progress in whatever industry that you're in. I'm going to hand it back to Andy, because he came up with this course that we now call Proform Gemba.
The Gemba. Thank you, Buzz, man. Thank you for that. I think there's a lot of really valuable tidbits of information there. And I think, like, if you were to record half of that, that's a podcast. And I appreciate you sharing. I'm sure the people at home also appreciate that as well. But as Buzz was saying, I guess, and this is where the Gemba was born from. And I guess the Gemba, actually, for, if you figured out, it's not an acronym, but it's not just a weird word that we found in a dictionary. It's actually a Japanese concept, which pretty much is defined by a place where value is created, or a place where value is born. And that's our sole purpose for existing, to be able to promote said value, as all the things that Buzz was mentioning. It's at this stage, though, that I'd really like to invite, I guess, a young person to the floor, someone who's actually engaged with the Gemba and actually completed the course as of today. You know, he spent 12 weeks with us. He put up with us for that long. And I'm very, very happy to say, and I'll be honest, I'm pretty proud of this bloke for the amount of effort that he's put in and the results that he's able to achieve as a young physiotherapist. Jordan Tedesco, can I get you to turn your video on and unmic yourself, please, mate?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
if I can, I'd love to just hear your thoughts, just primarily about your experiences in the Gemba, what you took away from it, and how it's helped you, mate.
Yeah, look, I think I might start off by just giving a little bit of background to the guys as well. I think setting the scene is pretty important. So I graduated, what are we now, 2023? Yeah, so last year. So I'm pretty new grad. I'm still 11 months out. I'm still pretty fresh, still pretty green, still pretty raw. But mine was a similar story to a lot of people, where I came out of uni thinking that, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm out, I'm on top of the world. I think being pretty young too. I'm only still 22. So I came out thinking that I was on top of the world and I was the best thing since sliced bread. But that came around pretty quickly. Came and sort of smacked you in the face a little bit. I started experiencing what a lot of people are commonly experiencing, that imposter syndrome, having that not that very clear-cut work-life balance, experiencing burnout, I guess, quicker than what you suppose. And you kind of don't realize it. You're kind of pushing it underneath the bus, and you're kind of in denial about it. I was struggling to get any sort of client buy-in, and there was sort of a lack of progression, no sort of mentorship, as you were pointing out on those slides, Andy. So yeah, that kind of was coming thick and fast, and my dream was kind of being destroyed by the day. I always wanted to be a physio, I always wanted to work with people, but I wasn't enjoying my job, didn't even want to go, didn't even want to be a physio. So that was coming thick and fast. And as I said, I came across Buzz and the Proform the Proform guys, and I think I bought into that pretty quickly, because I flew down to Sydney, met the guys pretty quickly. In fact, I think I met Buzz at like some ridiculous time, like 6 o'clock in the morning or something. I had to borrow my grandmother's car in Sydney because I lived on the Gold Coast. So yeah, I jumped on this course pretty quickly, because as I said, my dream was, crumbling right in front of me. And, I trusted that process, and I think you guys put that trust in me as well. So it was very mutual. And I think, I've completed this course now. And I think from week one, it was all about me, my story, and defining my endpoint, understanding what my sort of values are, how I can correlate my values with people within the clinic. And I guess through that, I started becoming pretty curious and pretty inquisitive, not only about myself personally, but professionally. And by doing that, and by becoming inquisitive, by becoming curious and staying curious through this whole process, think I've developed a lot of not only hard skills with theoretical knowledge, but the soft skills. So the software and the hardware go hand in hand with any sort of system. It goes as deep as maybe even a computer, where you got the hard skills that are being displayed on the screen, but it's all the sort of things in the background that are making it tick. You got to have those things, and you got to be pretty fluid in your practice as well. Because as you said, we're not the heroes in our story. And I realized that pretty quickly, because I realized then that, hey, maybe I'm approaching this pretty differently, because it's not all about me. It's about the person that's sitting in front of me. And I'm just a guide at that point, and we've got to help them through that journey and pretty much, meet them where they're at, like you guys always say. So, yeah, I think big things for me coming out of this course, I've become pretty self-aware, I've become aware of the fact that I have to help myself and service myself before I can service others. And that also, that better people, like Buzz said, better people make better practitioners, but ultimately better people and better practitioners also make better humans as well. So you're also, I guess, guiding that person that's in front of you to being a better person too. I think I can now find a lot of order in the chaos that I'm, I guess, proposed with, or what's in front of me within the clinic. A lot of times, especially with new grads, you're sitting there kind of thinking, what the heck's going on? But, we can find that order in the chaos a little bit. And sometimes we don't find that order in the chaos, but we know how to, I guess, adjust for it now. And I think finally, just to sort of really, tie in with everything that I've learned through this course, even though I did finish it today, like Buzz said, big things started happening pretty quickly for me. The world changed around me. I'm currently redefining my clinic, even though I'm probably one of the most junior people there. I'm employing frameworks that are not only tangible to my practice, but also the person in front of me, and they're pretty relevant. And most importantly is my creative expression. I basically have no limit to my practice. I can think about things and I can go about things in so many different ways and think outside the box. And I'm so incredibly confident with what I'm doing. And that creative expression is limitless, like I said, and that just changes your practice as a person, as a professional, and so much deeper on so many deeper levels too. So,
my man, what a guy! That's hectic, man. I'm so proud of you, bro. That's why we're doing this, man. So I appreciate you being on this call, man, and sharing this story for everyone else that's on the call as well.
Absolutely.
But it's just, that's just big news, man. So really happy for you, man, and
Really,
happy you went through it.
Yeah, really proud of you, bro.
Absolutely. And I appreciate your help as well. All of your help. So
awesome, man. So we'll move on to, I guess, this next slide here. And it's probably like maybe Jordan alluded to it a little bit more about, like, why Proform, I guess, why we exist as an entity as Proform University, right? And our wise to beat these things that are taking people away from our industry, beating things like burnout, being able to foster meaningful relationships. And as you were saying, Jordan, mastering chaos, because this is part of the Proform way. We have a very interesting little graphic on the right-hand side. Is just like, for anyone who knows that movie from the 90s, The Iron Giant, this whole idea of standing on the shoulders of giants, as Buzz was mentioning before, it's like we made, I guess, on our way, as we experienced a large number of our successes, we made a tremendous amount of mistakes along the way. And if we could turn back the clock back to when we first started, so for me about 10 years ago, and I had something like this sitting on my plate and I could leverage off that, I'm a bit scared to think what I could be in the meantime, so we hope that we can extend that to you as well. So Josh is one of our lead developers, mate. Can you tell the people at home, I guess, what's included within the course, like how it actually operates?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Jordan did touch on this a little bit. We have three main, I guess you'd call them, aspects, three main components to each week. Okay, we have a lecture that's been recorded, that it will be recorded by myself, Andy, and Geordie. Sometimes all of us, sometimes one of us, combinations. Keep you guys guessing, where we unpack whatever topic that might be. Chat about that, give you guys some actionable takeaways and some of our own personal experiences and some of the things that we've stumbled across. As Andy mentioned, we kind of have stumbled across some of these things in our own careers. Just trying to give you guys the cheat codes to those things. Mm-hmm. We also have a live call every week, jumped on Zoom, and where myself, Andy, and Geordie will all be there, and we'll discuss any of the key topics from the lectures, anything that might need more clarification, or anything else that might be a really good discussion point to drag out from that, to be able to give you guys some tangible takeaways and some things you can action, like Jordan was talking about, throughout each week. Okay. All of this is hosted on a platform called School. So it's all listed on that side, on that right-hand side of your screen there under the self-directed learning. Everything is stored there. Everything is kept there. One-stop shop for everything, including any other supplemental resources. Andy loves looking through some research and some memes and some YouTube videos. I'm pretty sure he just watches them when he's driving sometimes and just plays them. And he finds some really cool stuff. And we all do, and we're in there. And it also gives you a platform to engage with everybody else in the cohort, okay? Everybody else in the group. This is not something where it's just a one-to-one, nothing else thing. We're building a community here, and we're building a pretty massive one at that.
Thank you, man. So that's outlining all the things that are included, right? I thought I'd leave this one here because like for anyone who doesn't know who I am and what I'm about, I'm a pretty philosophical guy. So I like to find these little quotes here and there. And this one comes from Lao Tzu, is that a journey from 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And what we usually find with that single step, it's the most important one because it's the one that we're usually scared about taking the first time. But once we overcome that milestone and actually take that step, we can actually start fostering into action. So as we go through, I'm going to explain just briefly what the modules consist of, just very, very quickly. I'm not going to ask for, I guess, for you to climb a mountain, but I might ask you to stick with me for 12 weeks, all right? In module 1, I guess it's blocked out in 4-week periods, okay? Module 1, we call it Thriving with Purpose, okay? This is where we address the idea of you feeling lost, okay? Experiencing imposter syndrome and burnout, okay? Everything that it is about you, okay? So we have 4 lecture points there about why, defining your endpoint, how you beat how you beat burnout, and how you then go ahead about mastering the Proform way. Module 2, we now go into some more of the soft skills like Geordie was mentioning before about mastering connection, okay? Acquiring the skills to ask better questions, build trust, empower those around you, okay? Where we uncover building unbreakable relationships, mastering the art of being inquisitive, storytelling. This is something that human beings have done since day dot. We've used story as a means of communication for a long time. And we also go into week 4 about when we breaking the rules and entering the matrix, all right? Then we move into module 3. Okay, this is where a lot of the fun stuff, the practical application starts to come into play, where we come about mastering chaos, right? Practical applications for life, reframing how you think and make decisions in the clinic and beyond, all right? Bringing order from chaos, solving for chaos, the art of coaching, communication and empowering, and then bringing it all home in one master slide at the very, very end of it all. Okay, so that way you've got some really tangible takeaways for when you finish, all right? Now, with all that in mind, okay, and I want you guys to think about this particular question, okay? What is your dream outcome at the end of the day? Out of all the things you think about yourself in 1 year's time, 3 years' time, 5, 10 years' time, what is your dream outcome? And think about it maybe in present tense, okay? I earn this much. I have this clinic. I have these businesses. I drive this car. I weigh this much. Whatever the case is, right? What is your dream outcome, right? And think about it in relation to even right now, like what your earning capacity is right now, okay? What is your dream outcome and what is it worth to you? Take about 30 seconds to think about that. And as you're thinking about that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the microphone over to Buzz, who's going to talk to you a little bit more about how you can involve yourself with what we're offering here at Proform University.
Yeah, I think it's really important about this dream outcome question because, as I mentioned previously, I didn't even know what I wanted when I started being a physio. And unless you ask the question or give yourself permission to dream a little, because we all get kind of shunned when we're expected to go outside the norm, unless you have that endpoint, then you're not really moving in one direction. You're just going with the flow, and that's dangerous. It's very risky because then you go through life unfulfilled, not being able to hit a target that gives you purpose, that also gives you energy and also lights you on fire. So I really want you guys to think about that. And Andy did talk about the finances, but also think about how you feel. Because right now, chances are you're on this call because something's inside of you that's telling you I'm not comfortable where I am right now. Whether you're a student and you're frustrated that you're just not ahead or you're not competing with, or you're not up to scratch with what your clinic expects of you. Or maybe you're feeling a little bit lost because you have no idea what you want and you don't know where to start because all you've done is just what everybody else is doing. Talk about as well, where do you want to be in terms of your clinic? Do you want to work in hospital? Do you want to own your own business? Do you want to just do what you're doing for somebody else? All fine things, but you got to define that for you. Defining the endpoint is really important for you as an exercise in itself. But specifically, what's that worth to you? If you had a number that you would comfortably say, if I could impact the world in this way, but also maintain this amount of income for myself. What is that? So when we're talking about the value of Proform U, this is what we're offering. And this is the premium package. So this is the one that if you are a person who is fed up with where they are, don't really love where they're going because you don't know where you're going, and you need the guidance from someone that's done it before, has made the mistakes, and a team that's going to hold you accountable and basically leave no stone unturned, then this is the package for you. And what it includes is the lectures that Josh, Andy, and Geordie put together. There's a 1 hour live call with your group. There's self-directed learning that you do outside of it that is specific to what you want to learn. And there's this thing called buddy time. So buddy time is something we've implemented at Proform where we buddy you up with somebody else that's of like-mindedness to you with how you're thinking and the struggles that you're going through, because you share a lot of information amongst each other with this peer-to-peer interaction. As much as we love to just tell you stuff, I think the wrestling with somebody else that's going through the same thing is equally, if not more valuable. We also have course discussion on the platform for school where you can ask any question and you whack it up there and we can all interact with you to give you as much value. And you can squeeze as much out of us as possible. Okay, there's no stupid questions, and we'll always make sure we respond. And you get access to the Proform U platform. And then there's this one-to-one mentorship. Now, what is that? When I first started working for someone, I just wish I had a mentor in my pocket. Basically, someone that I could talk to, that I can ask questions and essentially have them ready to answer them for me. And obviously, that's a big ask for most people to be on 24/7, but we have this one-to-one mentorship where we allocate dedicated time for you to talk to a mentor. And at Proform, we've got about 11, really dedicated physios and chiros and practitioners that are willing to do this. And so we've got a lot of people with experience that are here to say, hey, if you got a question specifically, you want me to hold your hand through this, happy to do it for you. Okay, so you get a lot of value out of this where we speed you up. We fast track your progress to get from A to B, from where you are right now, feeling really lost and just not being supported, to someone that has everything they need to succeed. Our next one that we offer, though, is a little bit cheaper. And I just know, obviously, that not everybody has the cash flow to spend $6,000 on this sort of stuff. So we have the Essentials Pack, which is everything that I just talked about, except for that one-to-one mentorship with somebody at your fingertips. So when we compare the two together, this is what we're getting. So the only real difference between the Essentials and the Premium is that you have somebody holding you accountable that you can rely on for the 12 weeks of this program, that you can ask as much as you want, and you can squeeze as much value as you need from this person to help you in your specific goal, which we get through in the first phase of this package. Now, here's the thing, though. We also want to make sure that we offer way more value than what we've just pitched out. And I know from the cohort that's just been with us how amazing it's been. And because this next cohort is going to get even more, I know that you guys are going to get the best outcome. So what is also included, if you guys are keen and you're ready to go and you're on the fence and you're just like, I just want to go all in. I'm frustrated for too long and I want to make sure I do this right. We're also going to include an extra course. So if you're going to commit to the premium package and you are ready to go and dive in, we're going to honor your speed of doing that and putting your skin in the game by adding another course into the one that you're about to pay for. So at Proform, we value professional development pretty highly. And every Friday we meet for an hour and a half just to talk about topics. We'll go through things like getting a sports doc in to talk about cortisones and PRPs or tendons. We have surgeons that come in and talk to us, but we also do a lot of our own stuff where we'll go through joint by joint approaches from head to toe of all the injuries that you could possibly think of in a CrossFit gym, for example, and what you would see and how you would get out of it. So we've recorded all that and we're going to include all that in there too. And you can watch that at your own pace. And if anything, it's another course in itself. So effectively, if you guys are keen and you want to go ahead, if you go for that premium package, you're also going to get this additional course that you can work out at your own pace. So we'd love to meet you where you're at. So you get what you put in. If you want to get as much of it out and you watch all the 100 videos that we're about to put up, then go ahead, be my guest. We just want to make sure that you guys are happy. And this is one way to, as a courtesy to say, hey, thanks for stepping in faith. We're going to help honor that by giving you another course. Alrighty. So I'm going to whack this back to Andy because we're almost done, and Dylan has a class to attend.
Beautiful. I think we have, So I think like rounding it off now, like, I mean, especially considering all the things that we've discussed tonight, and I guess, and perhaps like even some of the major pain points that you're experiencing in your own personal circumstances, the pain points that are afflicting the allied health fraternity right now, with all those things being considered and what we have to offer now, what is your dream outcome worth to you? All right. So guys, I think definitely a lot to think about, but that's pretty much all that we had planned for today. For those of you who do have to run, I know, I guess, is it Lucas has to run and attend to a class? Like, so, mate, Dylan, I guess I hope you got a lot out of this, mate. But at this stage, I guess we're going to leave the call open for another 10 or so minutes to field any questions if there are any. Please feel free to put your hand up on Zoom, and then you can unmute yourself and ask any further questions that you have. But if not, we can let you guys all get home and have some dinner.
And I just got one more thing. Obviously, we've had 100 people sign up to this call, and there was about 20 or so people that have jumped on tonight. All these people from around the world. So I'm sure that this video right now is somebody's 2 a.m. in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we still have a lot of people to get through. Now, there's 100 of you that are keen to do something with us. And unfortunately, I don't have that many people to be able to, in Proform, to be able to accommodate to 100 people. So really, really want to accept as many as we can actually accept. Otherwise, what happens is we're going to reduce quality in the mentorship. So if you are keen on the premium package, then let us know as soon as possible, because then we can then start to allocate you that spot. But it will get to a point where we just simply can't take on too many. And then we lose that quality. So if you are definitely in, we're going to ask you at the end of this if you're keen, and then just simply respond. But yeah, we're really excited. Based on our first cohort, it was a hit. So I'm confident this is going to be awesome.
Yeah. So I think Josh has organized an email that's going to go out as soon as this call is done, which is a bit of a summary email about all the things that we've covered tonight, and also to information about how you can secure your spot for, I guess, the premium package or the essentials package. But like Buzz was saying, like, we've got capacity too, what I mean? Like, so we want to make sure that we can serve the best way that we can, but we've only got so many people. So first in, best dressed for anyone who wants to jump on in. So think deeply, but think quickly.
Yeah, we're happy to answer questions.
Yeah,
if you guys want to ask questions, let's roll.
Even random questions. We've got time.
The weirder, the better. I shouldn't have said that.
Jess says, thank you. You're welcome, Jess.
Feel free to unmute yourself, guys. I do like talking to people. I'm not scary.
No way. So Jess says, thank you. Or even if you don't want to speak, you can always put something in the chat if you feel a bit shy.
Others will talk.
We've got someone that's uncameraed themselves, which...
Oh, so when does the course start?
Class starts July 1, my friends. We have, what's that, 11 days?
11 days.
12 days? 12 days?
Cool. We're just going to pick some people.
He's gonna...
All right, Joel Potter, nice to see your face, mate. I know you whacked your camera on for a reason, so I know you want to ask something, so let's do it, man. Welcome, but yeah, fire away.
Yeah, okay. Didn't have any questions prepped.
Okay.
It's been a long day, sorry.
Nah, it's all good, mate.
Good. Yeah, I guess from mine, I'm keen for some like mentorship kind of stuff, because I don't have anyone senior above me that has the time to do that in my clinic. So yeah, probably not so much a question, but that's kind of what I'm keen to look into and suss out at the moment. Yeah,
really interesting. What I guess, what are the consequences of not having a good mentor at your clinic? What are you feeling at the moment? And obviously there's a reason why you're here tonight, which we're really honored that you're here. What's kind of pushed you over the edge to get to this point where you're now on a call with us?
I think it's probably like a lack of feedback. Like I'm assuming I'm doing pretty well as a clinician, because my boss hasn't said anything otherwise, but I haven't had that feedback or then direction for development to kind of go further. And I'm now in a position where I've got some juniors underneath me that I'm trying to direct them and train them. But yeah, not sure where to take that with them as well.
Yeah, really cool. And what's the dream outcome for you, mate? If you could whack one up right now that's a bit more recent, what is it that you'd like to achieve? If we were to do a mentorship for you, what would make that a huge win?
Yeah, I think like as a physio, I want to be someone who's well respected, got a good impact within the community in terms of like bringing better health outcomes for people. And then within the clinic, I'm keen to be someone who is a bit of like a fountain of knowledge and helps train up others within the clinic to be able to do the same. So we can kind of have a real good outward focus.
Awesome, mate. So it sounds like what you're saying is, one, you want to be the best practitioner you can be for your patients, but you also want to lead like a great leader for your staff as well.
Yep.
All that sort of stuff you'll learn in the Gemba. And I think one of the keys to being a good leader is, as Jordan mentioned, which I'm glad he remembered stuff in the course. You can't lead other people until you know how to lead yourself. And so really important to get a grasp on, well, then what kind of person am I? What's my communication style? How do I best give and receive feedback? How do I do that with empathy and more of a service-based mindset than anything? And so once you understand yourself, then you can definitely do that for your patients, but also the people that you lead. So really excited to have a chat, mate, and run you through in detail how we can help you. But yeah, appreciate you accepting the call to me, calling you out, mate. That's awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for being here. Cool. I'm keen to ask and pull out some more people because I know you're all still here for a reason. So, and there's people leaving. There you go. Okay, I'm going to call Samantha because I don't think we've...
Oh, Vinay, sorry.
Vinay. Andy's mate, Vinay. Come on, bro, give us something. What's brought you here and what do you want to... what's some of your pain points, mate?
I guess one of my pain points going through, because I've been through a few I've been through a few interesting experiences in my years. I guess it comes down to that creative expression. And so I guess one thing I'm intrigued about is how two things. One, how the buddy system works, especially if you're kind of on the essentials package. So who would you be buddied up with and how would that process work? Because I think definitely for me, the creative aspect of it, because I think coming out of my last practice, I was told to do things in a very particular way because we had to service a particular clientele and there's particular expectations. And I felt quite limited in terms of how I'm supposed to conduct assessments and conduct treatment and things like that. And I felt like I wasn't provided a lot of room to be myself, and to a point where I was performance managed on some of that stuff as well. And I was told that I had to hit very specific criteria, and I found that quite annoying when I was also trying to rehab my own injury along the way, and I was trying to, reestablish my own self, kind of sense of identity. So, to have someone tell you that this is how you should operate and this is how you should, and this is how you need to assess, this is how you need to treat. I found it limiting.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that, man. I'm so sorry you had to, you're in an environment that's putting some pretty heavy constraints on you from the sounds of it.
I'm cool now, but that's because to be honest, and Buzz, you might be aware because I actually emailed you because I almost dropped out completely.
Wow.
Yeah. I was on the email thread, so I remember this one.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So I almost dropped out completely, and I still got my toes in it, but I'm actually doing something different during the week just to give me a bit of space and distance from it. Because at the moment, I figured take care of all the other stuff in terms of, my own personal things in terms of income and survival and all that. So at the moment, the only reason I'm still in it is just for the love of the game and just because I want to still master my craft. That's the only thing that keeps me going at the moment.
And I would say that's something you need to hold on to, because not, as you just mentioned, sometimes we just get told to shut that off. And I don't know if any of you guys are parents here, but one of the worst things you can do is tell your kid, don't feel that way or don't be like that. It's the most limiting thing you can do for anybody's growth. And I'm all about key objectives and things like that, but there needs to be a certain amount of space for you to play within those constraints. And it's like any game, we've got the footy on next Wednesday, and the game wouldn't be the game if we didn't have lines and linesmen and referees and constraints to play within. But, you know, there certainly needs to be room to play. So I'm big on innovation and using, you know, your story, what you know, and what makes you you to then create this very unique product and service for your patients, because people love that stuff. They love authenticity. But I'd say that's probably the reason why we've been so successful at Proform is even our clinics look different to other physio clinics. And that's just because I love good looking spaces that make people feel not like they're not in a hospital, but more in a place that feels homely and welcoming. And, you know, that there's going to be a huge change in your healthcare by stepping into the space. But even with our team, like giving people room, like Proform U, I have nothing to do with this. You know, these guys have done such a great job to build it to what it is today. But I give them the objectives, like we're here to influence people's lives and change the direction so that people like you don't end up leaving because of poor leadership and, you know, not having very clear expectations from the people around you. So I would say that the buddy system, just to answer your question for the course, is that we would like to buddy you up the same way that we do here at Proform. So what happens is at Proform, every week we rotate on a buddy. So that way you get to talk to somebody, get their input, share what you're working on, etc. And then the next week, or maybe the week after, you get to rotate with somebody else. And then you get to then share some stuff with them, because we all have our blind spots and we all have things that we just don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And the more people we can buddy you up with, the better. So that's how it would work, mate. And yeah, I'm keen to have that chat with you and, you know, see how we can move forward with it.
Can I just quickly, just while Jordan's still on the call, mate, can you tell us about your time with some of the, I know you had some pretty stellar chats on the buddy time stuff. So can you just relay some of your experience with it, mate, like, and how you found it?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty awesome, like the whole buddy experience, because I think I might just start off. It's Benay, right? Yeah, perfect. So I think first off, like as I said, it's a super insightful reflection. And I think from my perspective, it sounds like, you know, you're super passionate about what you want to be doing, and how you're going about that, and I guess the longevity of your career, and not only the longevity but the enjoyment that you get out of it too. And I guess this buddy time for me was something that, you know, you look at that from, you know, when you started maybe day one, you think, oh, there's not really much value in that. Like, what can really someone tell me? But in multiple times that I did it, even with people that weren't like me, you find a lot of sort of common ground with people. There were a lot of people that I sort of connected with, had chats to, who, you know, they provided me with different sort of perspectives and insights to things, and I was able to sort of relay my perspectives and insights to them, and we were able to sort of bounce off each other and pretty much generate good ideas. And it leaves you with that sort of feel-good factor inside yourself, to know that there are other people like you, in the same sort of position as you, who just want to move forward with their career and want to share and express that, not only that creativity that you strive for, but the passion as well, which again, I'll remind you that you probably possess. And I don't think it's super fair on you that, you know, you got to that point where you didn't want to be in that situation. It's not a great feeling. I can resonate with that 100%, because I think at one point, the only reason that I was still in here was because I had a massive debt. But it's not the case now. It's not the case. And I think that comes down to not only, you know, jumping through the hoops of this course, but also talking to other people like you who share the same passion. And you don't not only get that insight and that perspective, but you get the network building. You get someone to you get someone to, I guess, always bounce off, and not just one person, but many people within the course. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing, bro.
Thanks, bro. Hey, last one, Lucas. You've got a minute, mate, and I know you're still listening. Where are you? Lucas is someone that I've recently connected with, and he's got a great story with the people that he wants to influence as well, and he's got some big goals. But mate, tell us a little bit about your problem and what you want to achieve with joining the Proform U Gemba.
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm just a coach. I was sort of considering becoming a physiotherapist. Spoke a little bit about how that would work. Just wanting to build a business that and have something that isn't a job necessarily. Like, I don't want to own a job. I want to own a business exactly like how Aldrin did. It's really cool seeing like gathering us together. You know, I can imagine myself doing that in 10 years time and or something like that. Creating a space where people can learn from your history. So I guess my question was going to be about, so I've done a few payments for the essential. How long would I have if I wanted to go to the premium? Because I guess the mentorship would be really beneficial for me, I think, as well.
Yeah, I can answer that. So ideally you want to make a decision before we start. And the reason for that is because of the buddy thing that we've got going on. So if you can give me an answer, bro, before then, that'd be awesome. And then at least then we can assume that you are now transitioning to the premium package.
Yeah.
And then we can get that going. But Geordie just made a good point, which I've messaged, which we didn't talk about, is that you don't have to pay all of this at once. We would love that because it's just easy from an account's point of view, but we understand that some people don't have the cash flow. And if the money side of things is the only reason why you're not stepping forward, I would hate for that to be the reason. And so we want to make sure that if you're ready to make this leap, that we also make that process as simple and easy as possible. So we can come up with some sort of payment plan for you guys. But yeah, Lucas, just short answer is the sooner the better. We've got 11 days to the next one, so you just let me know, man, and I'll buddy you up with somebody. Yeah.
Excellent. And just with like the buddy system, my mind, this is like a limiting belief I have straight away. So my mind said, if I get linked up with a physio, I'm not going to be able to provide much value to them. That's exactly what I thought.
Can I answer this one? Oh, so can I answer this one first before moving on to Josh, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess on the previous cohort, I guess that actually answered itself because on that cohort, we had nutritionists, dietitians, we had a personal trainer, we had 2 chiros, and a whole bunch, and we had 1 EP and a whole bunch of physios. So it was a real hodgepodge, and one of the really beautiful things was actually being able to see each and every single one of those people like interact and relate, share experiences, but also like add to one another, and one of the things like the young strength coach that we had, his ability to perhaps resonate with some of the, if you want to call them more seasoned physios or whatever else, was actually quite staggering and really good to see, and I think what it really does highlight is that we can all learn a lot from each other. That's one aspect, but we can also impact more people than maybe we realize, and we saw it firsthand with the buddy system when we had to go through the last cohort. So if that puts your mind at ease at all, I really hope it does because we've seen it work. I mean, do you want to add to that, Josh? Or
well, the only other part that I would add to that from a one-to-one, from a mentorship perspective as well, is taking away everybody else. Both Andy and myself have well over a decade in strength and conditioning and physio.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it's not one thing. And there is a wide array of expertise across the entirety of Proform. That's one thing that we do really well here, is we have a lot of experts in a lot of different fields. And that's our job, is to make sure that everyone's matched up appropriately.
Yeah, 100%, man. And like, it's one of those things where, like, I think one of we have with the young strength coach, his name was Jake Dempsey. And one of the things that he told me is like, what he got really, I guess, a lot of value out of is that he had a network and a black book of people that he could call on, chat to, bounce ideas off, but also potentially even refer to, and like, there's like, so when you think about the value of that black book, you think about the value of your contacts, the value of your network, and how those things can help excel you into new opportunities, new business adventures, and all the other things like that. It's a pretty staggering thing. It's a pretty awesome thing. And I'm pretty happy to say that we saw this in real time happen with especially with the buddy system in the current cohort, man. And I really hope that that's something that you can leverage off too.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Chuck in there.
Oh, just about Jake.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah, I would never underestimate the value you can bring to anyone. I don't care if you're a strength coach, a physio, EP, chiro, it doesn't matter.
Baker,
we all have something
janitor.
that we can
I'm the janitor.
Other people. So Lucas, like, I've no idea about your world, but there may be something that you reveal to me that is going to then help me with my patients. Like, I know I'm sounding like a big dad here, but I am. And my biggest life lessons I'm learning from my daughter, right? And she's like 4 years old. So you can't really say just because I'm a coach, you're not just a coach, mate. You know, you've got plenty of experience working with people and you're leading people. So people can get a lot of value. Us physios can get a lot of value from you, and we're sure that you can get a lot of value from us. So we'll leave it at that. We're past bedtime. It's 8:05. But guys, it's been a real honor and pleasure to be here. We'd be really keen to have you on board and appreciate you spending the time to be here on a Wednesday night when you could be in bed, maybe having a hot shower, whatever you do at 8:05 p.m. But hey, it's been good. It's been great. Love you guys. Love these dudes. Thanks, Jordy, for keeping them in check. But and
Thanks,
everyone
Rob.
else has been on the mic today. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to connecting, and let's do this journey together.
Yeah, guys. Check your inboxes. Those emails will come through. If you don't see them, check your spam.
Yeah.
If you have a Hotmail account.
If you have a Hotmail account, check your spam.
Yep.
Very good.
Or if you have a burner email like Lucas. Guys, it's been real. Thanks for hanging with us. Have a great night. And I'm
Right,
sure
see you
we'll catch
guys.
soon.
Thank you.